If you're joining for the first time, my name is Emma. I'm the lead instructor for Health IT Careers as an analyst. I am here to help you tie your experience into your new title as a healthcare analyst. I have titled the lesson for today, Job Titles Are Deceiving, because for the most times they really are. When you see a job title like a clinical analyst or a business analyst, or for most people that are in healthcare, an informatics or a nurse informatic, you tend to think that you need to be doing things that you imagine are beyond your scope. The truth is that most of those jobs, the title is just a big word, but where the meat is really in the job description. I'll take the example. I just pulled up a generic business analyst. So I'll pick an example of this position over here. One of the things you always want to look for is the minimum qualifications and the preferred qualifications. Why? Because minimum is what they would like to have as a minimum for that position. The preferred is what they would take if you don't have the minimum qualification. So let's say you're somebody that has experience in Epic or has a certification in Epic, but you don't have a bachelor's degree. Their preferred qualification is that you be certified in Epic. So in that case, they will overlook the fact that you don't have a bachelor's degree, but you do have an Epic certification. So you always want to know what are the preferred qualifications versus what are the minimum. Now back to my slides, the profession itself. A clinical healthcare analyst is basically a generic term or title for anything that has to do with analysis and analytics. So when you're combining those two in reference to the healthcare business model, you are a healthcare analyst. And so what makes the difference is how you specialize your skills to meet the needs of the business or the organization needs on what they need based on what you specialize in. So with the functional analyst, your job is to help analyze the functional requirements of a system. So you help define what the organization needs in regards to that particular system. If you want to go the route of a functional analyst, and the positions you'll be looking for is you start looking at the softwares that you know today. Let's say you know Epic, you know Meditech, you know McKesson. If you know any of those, start looking for those positions as an Epic functional analyst or a McKesson functional analyst or whatever the name of the application is, just add the word functional analyst. Most of the time you will see it's the same requirements, except that in this particular analyst position, you have a strong preference for somebody that's familiar with those types of applications. The other things that you will need to be very familiar with is the healthcare business model itself, how healthcare operates in general. A business analyst in general is somebody that is very, very familiar with the business side of things when it pertains to an organization. So a healthcare business analyst is very familiar with healthcare process, healthcare business, and can interpret the information that's needed for a healthcare into requirements that are needed to implement solutions or to analyze data. The next other thing that you will need to have an understanding is basic SQL syntax, which is as simple as there's a website called W3 Schools. Basically, honestly, when I was starting out, this is what I use the most. You're not in the database as a functional analyst. All you need to know is the basic statements that select from. But now if you are a technical analyst, you are expected to have more skills in SQL, which means that you have more capabilities of running SQL statements, whether it be the simple ones or the more complicated ones. And so the technical analyst has more knowledge in the SQL statements, as well as they may have some knowledge in programming. That's what makes the difference. The other one is the data analyst. Is basically an analyst that has more knowledge in the visualization tools for data. By that, I mean you have extra expertise on top of just knowing the healthcare business model. You also know you are very advanced in SQL. You're also advanced in data warehousing knowledge. A data analyst has knowledge in tools like SAS, Tableau. They have advanced Excel knowledge, which means you can do VLOOKUPs, you can do pivot tables, you can do any of those. You also have some knowledge in any one of these, the common data visualization tools. Any of those will help you become a data analyst. A process analyst is somebody that has extra knowledge in visualizing the business process, meaning they understand how healthcare operates, they understand how data flows, they understand how information flows from one person to another, and they can put that in a visualization tool, which we call Visio. A lot of your skills are going to be combined to fit in these areas. So you want to be able to learn a little bit from each area, but focus to grow your strengths in one area. So you pick the tool that you want to learn based on where you want to go next. Again, focus on where you're going next, not where you're going in 3, 4, 5 years, because the goal is to get there sooner than it is to get there later. So the next slide actually defines what analysis and analytics is. Analysis basically takes data, compiles it, analyzes it to provide support to decision making to the organization. Analytics takes that information that you have compiled and puts it in a technical tool, whether it's Excel, it's Word, it's Visio, it's SAS, it's Tableau, to support decision making.